Okay, here we are. So that first one uploaded and processed pretty well. So we're just picking up where we left off. So we have sent a bill through the House of Representatives. Okay. So where's it going to go next? Well, it's going to go, come on, to the Senate. Okay, so we'll go the Senate. We know there's 100 people in the Senate. Okay. All right, so you feeling psychic? What do you think? What do you reckon is the first step for a bill to become a law in the Senate? Oh, you're feeling psychic, aren't you? Bill is introduced. I think there's a hopper in the Senate, but I know it gets introduced. I'm not sure. There may be a box, there may not, but it gets introduced. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? Oh my goodness, we're going to make some good grades because we're all psychic here. It's going to the standing committee. Wow. Well, Dr. McKenzie, it'd help if you could type. All right, going to the standing committee. All right. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, you're smart. Okay, you are correct. Ding, 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 ding. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Subcommittee. All right. Now we're just going to go HTDAV. HTDAV. Hearing, testimony, debate, amend, vote. I think it was a Senate committee that Thank You for Smoking was having. All right, so then it's going back to the standing committee. If it makes it, now probably won't make it. You know, more of them don't make it than make it. But it goes back to the standing committee. HTDAV. Okay. All right. Now we're going to throw you off. All right. We're going to throw you off because, let's put it this way. Nope. There's no real, still can't type. All right. No real rules committee in the Senate. Instead, you have the possibility of a filibuster. Okay, I bet you've heard of a filibuster somewhere along the line. A filibuster, let's define it this way, an endless speech. So if you're a senator and you don't like this bill that's made its way through the committees and it's on the Senate floor and you want to stop it from passing, if you stand up and you talk and you talk and you talk and you talk, as long as you're talking, the Senate ain't voting. All right, so this endless speech, the filibuster, can prevent a vote on the Senate floor. All right, so if you look over there at the Rules Committee in the House, you know, the Rules Committee oftentimes puts a time limit on the debate. But it tends to be an open rule in the Senate, and so people can stand up and just give these endless speeches. And these speeches have lasted 3 months. There's been a 3-month speech. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, how the heck? You know, you got practical things. They got to sleep. They got to pee. You know, what's going on there? During the filibuster, it's like tag team. You can hand off to people. So you can go for a few hours. Then you recognize the distinguished senator from some other state, and they go a few hours, and that they pass it off from person to person. Now, sometimes you do have I think maybe the longest anybody's gone. I don't think anybody's gone 24 hours. You know, they go 13 hours or something like that. And, you know, you asked me about the bodily functions and stuff. I don't know. You know, I don't know exactly what happened there. But, you know, the longest filibuster in history was 3 months, I think. Something like 3 months is the Civil Rights Bill. It was either the Civil Rights Act or the Voting Rights Act. And so Southern senators, all of whom were, or most of whom were military veterans, would bring their army cots to the Senate chamber, and they'd take naps outside the Senate and then somebody'd wake them up and they'd come in and they'd get recognized by the guy who was talking, and then they'd talk a few hours. And so they kept that kind of round robin tag team kind of filibuster going for 3 months, I believe. All right, now, can they just do it forever? You know, let's say you had 8 or 10 guys and they're just going to do it for 20 years. Well, the way to stop it is with what's called a cloture vote. All right, and that is a 3/5. Whoop, can't talk. 5th vote. So you need 60 votes. 60 votes in the Senate. And look at the word. It looks like close your mouth. All right, so 60 votes will stop the filibuster. So anytime somebody tries to filibuster, if there's 60 people that don't like it, you know, they can stop them. So the filibuster lasts a minute. So in other words, think about what this means practically. For a bill to pass the House, you need a majority. You need 218 people, all right, to vote for it. For a bill to pass the Senate, you need 60 votes. You need the supermajority, because if it gets here to the floor of the Senate, and we'll go ahead and put that, and we'll say Senate floor. Well, the filibuster can stop it if it's only got 52 votes. So, I mean, an interesting question: when would somebody filibuster? They filibuster when the bill has somewhere between 51 and 59 votes in its favor. If it only has 50, it's not going to pass. It's got to have 51 votes. All right. If it's got 60 votes, there's no point in filibustering. You know, they're going to be able to do cloture. So we'll go ahead and say DAV here. So on close bills, that's when you're going to see a filibuster. And the filibuster's kind of evolved. You know, I saw on YouTube there was a bill that Bernie Sanders was filibustering. I don't remember what it was. And he spoke, I don't know, 8 hours, 10 hours. He spoke a long time. But normally what happens today, if there's even the threat of a filibuster, the minority, the large minority, the 45 people who are against the bill, or whatever that number is, can signal to the leadership, the party leadership that's pushing this bill through, we intend to filibuster. And, they don't even have to actually give the speech. Just the threat of a filibuster will shut down a bill. Okay. Now, but let's say it makes it all the way through the Senate too. And it's not always the case that a bill starts in the House and goes to the Senate. Sometimes a bill starts in the Senate and go to the House. Sometimes two separate versions of the same bill will go to the through the Senate and the House at the same time. Okay, so imagine, I wonder, look. Oh, let's do this, because I think I can do this. Let's put it 1 over. So columns, let's make this 3 columns. All right. And then, now this is going to take some doing. Uh-oh. Well, let me put it all the way. What I'd like to do is I'd like to hit my return button. Yep. All right. So we're going to send this Senate thing all the way down to where it is on the far right side. There we go. All right. And then let's see. And we know how it's going to go. Let's see. What if I go right here? What I'd like to do is put some stuff in the middle. All right. So I'm going down, 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 down. Mackenzie, you should have figured this out before you started the dang video. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Now, how come that's... All right. Where's the middle? Now, what happens if I... Look at there. Now, what happens? Okay, I'm liking it. Okay, now it's going to screw up my Senate side as soon as I start talking, right? Because as soon as I start typing, because every time I type, it's going to scoot things down on the Senate side. But I want you to know, all right, so let's say you've had a bill that goes through the House and the bill goes through the Senate, whatever the order is, and it's kind of beating the odds. It's got through both of them. Let's say it's this stimulus package. You know, generally speaking, Democrats like to spend a little more money than Republicans. So let's say the Republicans had said $1 trillion we were going to spend, and the Democrats had said $3 trillion. Well, then you got to come up with a compromise because the president can't sign two different versions of the same bill. So you have this thing called the conference committee. All right, and the conference committee is going to consist of members of both the House and the Senate. You know, maybe 20 people on the committee, 10 from the House, 10 from the Senate. They're probably from the original committees that passed these things. All right, and well, what do you think their job is? They got to come up with some compromise between the two bills. And if I hit delete, will that scoot it back up? I think so. All right, so a compromise between the two bills. So in this case, you know, the Democrats want to spend $3 trillion. The Republicans want to spend $1 trillion. So we'll say the conference committee came up with a compromise of spending $2 trillion. All right, and so then now look, it's got to go back. It's got to go back to the House where they will. I wonder if I can do this. I'm kind of liking this. Look at what the House is going to do. They're going to DV it. They can't change it. They can't amend it, what's come out of conference, because then you'd end up with two separate bills again. All right, so then over here, and I like it. Oh, I'm liking this. This is very nice. What are they going to do? They're going to DV it. They're going to debate it and vote on it. They can't change it because that would screw up the compromise. Okay. So they debated, they vote on it, and if it passes, well, then it goes, where do you think? You're right, the president. All right, the president is going to have, whoa! How did that happen? That's because you're stupid, Dr. McKenzie. You don't know what you're doing. No, that's right. So he can sign it. He's got three options. If he signs, it's a law. That's what President Trump did with the stimulus. Okay. Second thing he can do, I bet you know what it is. He can veto it. Okay, if he vetoes it, well, it goes back to the House, back to the Senate. All right, and what will they do? In order to override the veto, it's got to be a 2/3 vote. Oh, let's see. What do I need to do there? 2/3 vote. So what if I scooted that back? All right, well, let me put the E there. 2/3 vote. Okay, over here. Scoot this over just a little bit. Hey, the Senate's got to have a 2/3 vote too. Thirds vote. So if 2/3 of them vote to override the veto, well, it's still a law. All right. Okay, then there's this one other option. It's called a pocket veto. Okay. Pocket veto, if Congress stays in session for 10 days. 10 days. Whoops. 10 days, it's a law. All right. If Congress adjourns, the bill's dead. Has to start all over again. Can't be, and it can't be overridden. All right. So if Congress is about to go out of session, the president might not bother to veto it. He just does nothing. In that sense, I'd make a good president, because I could, if there was one I didn't like, I could just lose it on my desk right there. He just doesn't do anything on it. If Congress goes out of session, it's dead. All right. So that's the president's three options. So most often, what he's going to do is he's going to sign it. You don't have just a lot of vetoes. Congress doesn't want to be embarrassed by the president, so a lot of times they won't pass a bill that they think he's going to veto. The president doesn't want to be embarrassed by Congress, so a lot of times he won't veto a bill that he knows is going to get overridden. So most often what you have is he signs a bill into law. But you do have the process for a veto, that's checks and balances, and you also have this thing, the pocket veto, which depends on how long Congress is in session. If it's still in session for 10 days, it's law. If it adjourns, it's dead. All right, and that is the lawmaking process. All right, so if we're in class, what we do, we go straight down the road. All right, so let's play with that just for a second. Oh crap! All right, so I need to go over here, don't I? All right, then I can go down here. All right, where you're not looking at anything. So if we're on the House side, let's review just for a second. Okay, gets introduced, then where's it going? Don't look. Standing committee. All right, then where? Subcommittee, HTDAV. Then, hey, it's a pattern. Back to standing committee, HTDAV. And then where's it go? What they have in the House that they don't have in the Senate? They have that rules committee, because you got to keep 435 people under control. All right, the rules can be an open, closed, modified rule. Open rule, unlimited debate and amendments. Closed rule, time limits and no amendments. And modified rule, relevant amendments with probably a reasonable time limit. And then it goes to the Senate. All right, introduce, committee, subcommittee, HCDAV. All right, committee, HCDAV. Then you got the filibuster. Filibuster is the endless speech, can only be stopped with a cloture vote of 60 votes. All right, so in effect, what you got to have to pass a bill from the Senate is a supermajority of 60 votes. All right, then chances are you've had all these different chances for amending. Like if you go up, let's go up for a second. Look at all the different chances you've had to amend a bill. All right, here in the subcommittee, that's 1. Here in the standing committee, that's 2. Here on the House floor, that's 3. All right, 6 times, and then you get 3 times on the Senate side. See if we can get this sucker up here so it looks better. All right, delete. There it is. Is that coming up? Yeah, I think. All right, so there's the Senate side of things. And it's got 3. So 6 different opportunities to amend the bill. So chances are you might end up with 2 different bills. So if you do, you don't always. Sometimes you have 2 identical bills. But if you do, it goes down the subcommittee. Down the conference committee. They come up with a compromise, send it back. They debate it and vote on it. They can't amend it again. All right, and then goes the president. He's got his 3 options. Okay. Hey, I was off by a good little bit. So I predict that one took 15 minutes. I just don't think it took that long. Let's see.